You spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Hi, Scott. Why are you like this?
Well, you got to have the fidgets. How are you doing? How's your day going? What's cooking?
You know, I was having this conversation actually in the pre-show today. 2022 is weird so far. It's kind of weird, right? It's like, I feel like 2020 was such a nightmare. We were just all on a high about 2021 being 2021. And, you know, PPP was still flowing. There was still a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, we were switching and there was just a lot of different switches and there's just all this reason. And now it's kind of like plateauing, leveling out. So 2021 just kind of weird. All my favorite celebrities are dying. So I'm just kind of trying to like take it all in and, you know, realize that Tuesday and then at least we have sunshine.
Yeah, well, you mean your business is moving and grooving. I mean, I feel overwhelmed. I've been up every day at 5 a.m. and a lot of it's working. And I feel like, I don't know if this snow or pandemic kept people a little bit inside, but I'm seeing a little bit of a burst in work productivity, and I'm a little scared. I'm just trying to keep up, not trying to have that inbox full. I'm assuming the other guests are the same way, but one thing we talked about was your grandfather was an entrepreneur and a dentist.
Right.
But why do dentists talk to you when they know you can't talk back? And so I'd love to get the audience's thoughts on that because it's weird. Because I just assume people are like, you know, they're going in for a big move on a tooth and they get in there and you're like, what? I can't respond. Because
it'd be weirder if they didn't talk to you, I feel like. You know who else? I always like, when you go get a massage, sometimes they want to talk to you a lot. And then I feel like sometimes when I need a little bit of therapy, need them to talk, that's whenever I get the person that is not. I actually went to Celeste from Relief last week. She was on the show a few weeks ago. And when I walked in, she said, I'm going to talk at your comfort level. So you just let me know. And I was like, that's a great kind of plan coming in, letting me know to let you know if I want to talk. Otherwise you're just going to, you know, with that massage. So I think some of those, it's just weirder if they don't. I know I would talk nonstop if I was working on somebody and something. That's just who I am.
Yeah. Well, not only that, one of the guests that's about to be on, which is why people tune in, is for the panel.
Yeah, not
and because of our great sponsor, Bank of Blue Valley, but he was talking about getting his haircut every 2 weeks. I have a buddy that goes to the chiropractor every week. And the point of that is you're talking about your masseuse, is there's these other outlets outside of your community where people can vet or I say complain or highlight. And this show is one of those shows because of Bank Blue Valley, where the business community kind of gets together and we kind of vent, we kind of give each other a little therapy, we pump each other up. I mean,
right.
This show kind of gets people excited, as it did you and I, as we were getting our butts kicked this week. And now we're excited because it's 3 p.m. on Tuesday.
Right. I always say this show is definitely the reason neither one of us is ever going to be able to run for office, right? Because we just too much sometimes.
Well, that, and we also dominated in our 20s and we could never, ever run for any public office. But we have a high empathy level and understanding of others.
We do. Hey, let us know if you are here watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Where are you watching us from? Toby says he has his Yeti cup.
Toby.
It's filled up and ready to go. Hi, Toby. Joel, good afternoon to you as well. We are super excited y'all are here. I can see quite a few people are already jumping on. So let us know you are here. So I'm pretty excited about our panel today. We got a great panel. Let me get to my, I've got this music now. I'm practically. Oh, I do have a quick question for you. Are you going to watch that football game that's at that concert this weekend? Who are you rooting
Yes,
for?
I will watch the concert, but I don't want to watch the football game. And you are so trending, Aaron, but sincerely, people that are Chiefs fans don't want to watch the game. It's painful.
Yeah, but there's going to be a pretty I don't watch football no matter what, but there's going to be a pretty good concert in between. So I'm kind of looking forward to some Snoop Dogg, but I'm just calling it the concert all week. If anybody, Kansas City, let's just call it the concert. Okay. All right. While I did that, I thought about that because, I'm practically a producer now with this background.
You're a sports agent.
All right. Let's get ready. Let's go ladies first. Our first guest, Miko. Second guest I got to see last week, Brenda. Our third guest, Steve. And last but certainly not least, Micah. Welcome to the show. I'm fading it out. You feel professional again? Oh, it didn't fade out. Oh, it did fade out. Okay, we're there. We're there, you guys. That's a new feature. It's a new feature. All right, look. Whoever this is in Orlando, hello, but your privacy settings on, so we don't know who you are, but we're glad that we are bi-coastal today. So welcome. How are you guys? Let's just jump into it. First of all, Miko, I'm going to tell you right now that I see your entire bar there, and it's been a Tuesday, and I was like, do I make a drink? Is it too early? And I clearly chose the wrong thing here because I needed to be drinking with you. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Well, hi guys. I am Miko Blackman. I am the owner of Shots by Miko Custom Cocktails and Shots. We are a full service beverage company based out of here in Kansas City. Let's see, how did I get to Kansas City? My dad is actually from here. My mother's from Louisiana. My dad's from here. They met in the Air Force. Yeah. Lived in Louisiana for a while, moved here right before starting high school, and attended the illustrious Lincoln College Preparatory Academy House on the Hill. And I started my business here. My husband is here. I'm a newlywed and all that other good stuff. But yeah, that's a nutshell. I can go, but there's other people here for all of that.
Well, we need to understand what your business does, because you can't just say cocktails and then not tell us.
Well, okay, so we're full service. So that means like your weddings, your parties, your retirements, and everything. You guys need fully licensed and insured bartenders. We can come and just do that. We can bring in the entire bar and serve your open bar. We can do cash bar for any type of event. And we also offer some offsite services virtually, which is our COVID pivot, as we were talking about 2020 earlier. We offer virtual classes for large and small groups where we walk you through some education about spirits and also teach you how to make cocktails. So we have all that cool stuff available, as well as the lockdown, kit for people who ain't really into talking to other folks. We also offer home cocktail kits for, that special night in with you and somebody. It ain't got to be your love, but somebody that you can cheers the drinks with.
So, Miko, have you ever thought about the business of the big ice cubes?
No.
You know what I'm talking? So there's only one competitor that does it.
Jill.
You just need to buy a freezer, and water's inexpensive, and the market is wide open. I've been telling everyone about the business. Someone needs to do it. You can charge a lot of money for ice cubes.
Just for
that. You'd be shocked at the amount of upscale cocktail bars that do it, and it's only like 12 of them in the metro, which there's just a huge market for someone who wants to do that business.
Actually, well, there is somebody who does this. She's a associate of mine, Jill. She owns the bar over off of 18th Street. She has a whole ice cutting thing in the back. She walked us through working on a project together. And I was like, get it, girl. You in that really, really cold water. I'm not a cold body type person, so I don't deal with.
I'm telling you, it's good. And then Homegrown KC is a podcast that has a whole episode on Lincoln High School. And for those that are not familiar with your high school, I mean, it's an institution. It's one of the most well-known schools in our entire metropolitan in the Midwest area. So if you kind of want to give some background, if you want to, I don't know if you're a history buff, but I love the history of Lincoln.
I can. So Lincoln College Preparatory Academy is up on the hill if you're looking at the skyline of Kansas City at 2111 Woodland. It was the first all African American school in Kansas City. And later on down the lines, they gave it the name of, they picked up the college preparatory accreditation. So we do not fall under the accreditation of the Kansas City Public School District, even though we are a part, we're privately accredited because we carry AP and IB accreditation capabilities for us to pick up credits while we're in school. And we have that awesome new field. Finally, I don't know how many years after graduating, we finally got a football field that you guys can see, from the sky in that illustrious blue and gold. But the school went to, I think last year, they went to the championship. So, give it up for LCPA, House on the Hill. But yeah, it's been around a really, really long time. They've added extensions to it. They've been upgrading it. There used to be a pool in the basement, which is now, it was a weight room, but I never saw it as a pool. It was a basement while we were there, but it's still going strong, still putting out some of the, lightest, brightest, best, minds in the city and in the state. So I'm a very proud alumni. So there is a video floating around of me and a couple of my classmates, supporting a fundraiser. So if y'all see it, we had fun.
Yeah, it's the hardest school to get into in Kansas City to apply and get into it. A lot of people don't realize that. And then secondly, what does a bread and butter client look like for you? Like a really profitable client that you love, what does that look like? Or a business opportunity? What is that to educate the audience?
So a client for me knows exactly what they want from our service offerings. They came to us specifically because of what we do with our name, Custom Cocktails and Shots. That is the niche that we live in. We live in custom. We will do colors to match your theme. We will do flavors to go along with your favorite flavor profile, be that in a spirit form. If your favorite thing is tequila, we can do a full custom tequila bar for you. If your favorite flavor is strawberry, we can rock that out. And so it allows our target customer to get exactly what they want, and they know that it's not going to be repeated down the line, with our next customer. And they really, really like that. And they appreciate the time and the energy we put behind that for them. So they're not worried about, what it's going to cost at the end of the line. They worried about the flavor, the experience, and the overall look and feel, and the ability to enjoy their event. So.
And then I know you do the delivery. You kind of touched on it, but just because of our audience, we got quite a few corporate on here. You do the delivery, so you do a lot of corporate gifts.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So we due to COVID, we used to do a lot of on-site events, weddings, parties, and things of that sort. And then once COVID came through and was like, we don't want nobody breathing anybody else's air right now, we did pivot into offering virtual classes called Shots by Miko 101, and it goes through to 201 actually. And so with our corporate clients who had remote locations or all their workers working from home, they still wanted to have things that they could do to team build and bring the group together. And we came up with our corporate cocktail kits. And so what we do is that they pick amongst our options of cocktail kit flavoring flavor profiles, and they send us the names and the addresses, and we put all of that together along with the active Zoom link that everybody tunes in for. We educate them on spirits, things that they can put at their home bar, because most of the time people are at home with these very, very large corporate clients. And we walk them through all of that, and they make cocktails and they talk and laugh with each other. And it's a really good team building experience where you don't have to gather everyone. No one has to look for a babysitter or anything like that. They're doing it in the comfort of their own home. Something fun, regardless of what time of the day it is. I've done one at 11 a.m. So ain't my business. Hey, 5 o'clock somewhere, but it's a really cool team building activity for, those companies who are 100% remote, partially remote, and then to bring the people who are actually in office together with the remote people that they don't really see that often. They may hear their voices or do emails. And so it's a really cool, activity for them to do. And I really like doing it because I get to meet people from coast to coast, north to south, and they're really, really excited to, participate.
Awesome. I mean, that sounds like my kind of activity. How about you, Scott?
Yeah.
Nice.
Stop talking because we got to keep rolling.
Brenda, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Well, hi. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm glad to know Miko. I might become a customer real soon. So awesome, right? My name's Brenda Van Lingen, and I'm a sports broadcaster for ESPN and other networks based in Olathe, but travel all over the country. I came to the Kansas City area about 26, 27 years ago from Nebraska. I grew up in Nebraska. Went to the University of Nebraska-Kearney, got my business education degree there, played basketball. I coached at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln for a time. And then after I left, I got into broadcasting women's sports. I moved to the Kansas City area so that I could be involved with various sports events. I actually ran the women's Final Four that was here many years ago in 1998, and have been involved with the Big 12 tournament over the years. I've called games on ESPN and Fox Sports and Big Ten Network and SEC Network, and do speaking engagements and things like that. And right now, I'm pretty fired up about the Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship coming back to Kansas City. It was here 2 years ago. The day COVID shut everything down was the first day of the Big 12 Women's Tournament back here in Kansas City. So we didn't get it then. Last year, we had limited audience possibilities. So this year, we really can blow it out at Municipal Auditorium. It's March 10th through the 13th. It's a great event. 5 of the teams in the Big 12 are currently being ranked or receiving votes, and it's going to be an incredible tournament. So I want to get on here and talk to people about, being here in Kansas City. It's a great event to support.
And Brenda's actually been on the show before, but when we found out she was that the tournament's coming up, we wanted to get you on before the tournament. Can you tell our audience, just because some of them I think they've seen you on here, but they haven't met you in person, how tall are you, Brenda?
I'm about 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Brenda's like my most fun person to see, because I'm super short. People probably think we're the same height on here, which is always my favorite. But Brenda, when Brenda's in a room, both because she's tall and her amazing personality, and because she's such a broadcast person, right? They can command a room. It was really fun to see you last week. So I'm super excited to see you with the Big 12 tournament. You want to talk a little bit about your docuseries you're working on? Or is that
absolutely? Yeah, absolutely. Because I've had such a great career broadcasting, it's been my life. It's been my full-time job for the last 12 years, as I built it for 27 years. But it's been my primary gig for the last 12. I'm just, over this last year, as many of us, when everybody was shut down and we were kind of reevaluating our lives and our livelihoods, I really thought about how blessed I've been to have the career that I have had in women's sports. And there are just so many women that have gone before me and men that have paved the way. And so I thought, I love to tell stories. I love to share history. I want to look into doing a documentary. And I started interviewing all these men and women from the 70s that helped to build college women's basketball, because we're about to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And so who were those people that really got things going in the 70s? So I started interviewing people and talking to people. And as I was discussing with them, they all pointed to some people in the 50s and 60s that really got things rolling. And about the same time, Last Dance came out, the great documentary series about the Bulls. And I thought, we need a docu-series on the origin story of college women's basketball. People need to know the background. And so I have started to interview some of the greatest women and men that have contributed to the history of women's basketball. I've interviewed women in their 80s and 90s that were around when it was still 6-on-6 basketball, and there were national tournaments in St. Joe, Missouri, and national AAU tournaments. And Marion Washington, the first Black coach that was hired at an all-white institution at the University of Kansas, or a predominantly white institution at the University of Kansas, and really set the tone and the standard for the Midwest. And just women all over the country that I've been able to interview. So we're at the beginning stages. We're fundraising because I'm producing it independently. We've raised a little over $120,000 so far to go out and take our video production crew from Real Media to interview women all over the nation and get their stories. And then we're looking for sponsors that will help us to edit it all together and put it together and help us with the distribution. And it's going to be epic. The stories that we've uncovered already are amazing, and I can't wait to share them. It's called If Not For Them, because if not for them, we wouldn't have what we do now. Ifnotforthem.com, you can see our promo video and some of our people that we've already highlighted, but it's going to be really special. I'm excited about it.
So kind of like an entrepreneur, and you are an entrepreneur, when you originally had the thought process, you probably went out and searched. Surely this story has been told. And so what did you find, and were you shocked?
What I found is there haven't been many stories at all about the history of women's basketball. I mean, obviously, women's sports is always knocking and trying to get the respect and the exposure. And, there's a lot of things going on right now that have kind of revealed a lot of that. But those of us that have been in it a long time know that we've always been fighting for people to really pay attention. And so it all goes back to, the 50s, 60s, and 70s. There were all of these girls and women competing in sports that nobody even knew they were doing it. Wayland Baptist was a small college in Plainview, Texas, that in the 50s and 60s, they had 4 small airplanes fly them all over the country to play basketball all over the country because they had a sponsor. They had people that were interested in supporting them, and they had the resources to go around and do it. And it was proven that if you support women, if you give them the opportunity, they can thrive. And their stories are just incredible. And there was a small documentary done about them, but it was really never distributed. And it's just one of those stories that needs to be told on a bigger scale. And, the first national championship, a lot of people think it started when the NCAA started. Well, in fact, Title IX is celebrating the 50th anniversary. The NCAA is celebrating this year our 40th anniversary of women's basketball. So what happened in those 10 years in between? The NCAA was not interested in women's sports at all. Said, we don't want anything to do with women's sports. They even fought against Title IX and spent $1 million to try to strike it down at the beginning. So a group of women formed an organization called the AIAW, and they formed their own organization, their own championship structure, and they got things going. And so there were just all these great stories, and really, honestly, not much has been done to document those stories. There was just a documentary that came out this last summer called The Queen of the Court about Lucy Harris, who led Delta State to 3 national championships in the 70s. She was on our first Olympic team in 1976 and scored the first basket in the Olympics for USA women's basketball. And I got a chance to interview her for my documentary series. And it was, a short film that came out. She got some publicity. Shaq got involved. And then tragically, she passed away about 2 weeks ago. And so I'm so glad that her story was told and that I was able to interview her for part of mine. But there are so many people out there that their stories have not been told, to your point, Scott. And it's really amazing, all the support and interest that I'm getting in this project, because people are like, we don't know the story. We don't know the origin story of women's basketball. And I'm just excited to go through this process to be able to share it with people, if not for them.
Amazing. I'm excited to see it. All right, Steve, who are you?
I'm Steve Carver. That's a tough 2 to follow.
Yeah, oh, that one, Steve.
Yeah, I know. Their careers sound much more interesting than mine, so I'll try. I work for a company called the Williams-Carver Company. We're a 3rd generation family-owned business. We are a mechanical engineering contractor that work in the food and beverage, pharmaceutical, dairy, brewery, and large industrial ammonia refrigeration industries. So that's kind of just a fancy way of saying we handle, design, and sell processing systems and equipment in any processing facility when it comes to all of those that I named. So it's been a good time for us with unfortunately everything that is going on in the world with the pandemic and everything. Through all that, people still have to eat and people still need medications and vaccines and things like that. So with everything going on and all that, it has been good to continue working and not have to slow down like some people have had to. So that part has been good. As far as how I got to Kansas City, I'm from the area. I grew up in Shawnee. I've lived here my whole life. I took a slight detour in college to go up and play basketball up in the Boston area. So it sounds like I need to talk to Brenda a little bit. I've got, I'm the same way. I'm 6'8", and I've got 2 small daughters at home that are just sprouting up like crazy. So we might be reaching out to you here shortly to see if we can get something done.
Take them to the tournament.
I know.
Very nice. Very nice.
We'll have to for sure. So
see, you don't look 6'8" on camera either. That's what's so crazy about meeting people in person.
Yes, that's the zoom in. So so I was up there for a little while, and unfortunately got a career-ending concussion that cut my time there short. And as my wife would say, got some sense knocked back into me and moved back to Kansas City and finished my time at Kansas State, and have been here ever since. Yeah.
Speaking of Aaron and I's dentist rants, you have beautiful teeth. I mean, you could have done that being 6'8". And so we were talking about your location and how centrally located it is. No matter where you are in the city, you can kind of get in and out. So how long have you been in that location? And then secondly, who are some of your favorite, if you can say, some of your favorite clients or industries you enjoy working with that maybe the audience wouldn't know about?
Sure. As far as our location goes, we're just up the road of Mission Road and I-35 by the original Joe's Barbecue at the gas station. That's kind of our point of contact as far as where people know where it's at. So we've been in this building that we've owned since, I believe, the late 60s. We've been in, our company was created in 1955 by my grandfather and another gentleman who's no longer associated with this company. It's only Carver's left. So we've been at this location for a while and plan on staying here for a while as well. As far as some of the clients and industries we work in that might be of interest, maybe the good thing about what I do is there is a wide spectrum of the type of industries we do work through, from food processing all the way through pharmaceutical and breweries and things like that. So it's a wide spectrum of, you spend one day at a hog processing plant that can get a little gross when you're in those, and then later in that day you're going to a brewery and sitting down with some of those guys at KC Beer and some of those. So we try to save those for Fridays because that's the time you want to go to that.
Yeah, it's gotta be rough just prospecting breweries all the time for those guys that work for you, or girls. They just got to go hang out and do it. Right. Do you ever work with Matt Ambrose of Ambrose Packaging?
We've tried to get it together a couple times because I think there is a little bit of crossover there on what he provides as far as being in the same facilities and things like that, and maybe not the same equipment that we provide, but definitely some crossover. So we do need to connect at some point.
The 5 of us will all share in the commission, and you are buying us a happy hour, and Miko's going to help us get it done.
Sure. Sounds good.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited for your little girls to go over there. And then I have a very important question. How many days a week do you walk over and get the Z-Man?
Too many, that's for sure. Yeah, it's too easy to go up there. So I'm always trying to find an excuse to somebody to come take to a lunch or something like that. So we've also got Q39 right down the road too. So you kind of just switch those back and forth.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Micah,
you.
Thanks for your patience. Who are you? How do you get to Kansas City?
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome. My name is Micah Burgess, and I'm Vice President of Sales with a company called ProMax Unlimited. We are a CRM company, so we're a full-service CRM marketing and website company that provides those services in the automotive space. So been in this space for about 14, 15 years. I'm from Kansas City my whole life. I left for about 6 or 7 years. We moved down south to the Table Rock Lake area, down by Branson area. Grew up down there, had a great growing up in high school down there, lived down there in high school, and then came back shortly after high school. And about 14 years ago, got in the technology space and worked for a couple of bigger companies here in Kansas City. And we are now bringing another technology company to Kansas City. Right now, our corporate office is based out of Iowa, where the company was founded 25 years ago. And we are in the process of moving the corporate entity to Kansas City. We've had a couple of big announcements here recently, press releases with inside of Kansas City, where we're going to add about 400 or 500 jobs here in Kansas City in the next 2 or 3 years. So really excited about being in an organization here in Kansas City that's going to grow here. It's cool that we've been around for 25 years. So our technology, our legacy technology has been around for a really long time, but we're doing some really, really cool things. Expansion, growing like crazy, doing a bunch of hiring, and building out a really cool company here in Kansas City. So excited to be on the show to be able to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you for being such a gentleman. It's always hard when you wait till the end, and especially when you're a leader and your job is, your whole life has been to lead others in sales. And so typically you're helping control and navigate the conversation. So you should be one of the co-hosts with us one time. But one thing is, people can find your LinkedIn profile and research your company, and then reach out to you or someone within your organization if they want to learn more about it. That's a lot of really cool opportunity. And then secondly, why did you decide that you wanted to jump all in on the company you're at today? What are you doing that is changing your industry?
Yeah, great question. So I've been in this space a long time. Kansas City has a very rich history of automotive technology companies here in Kansas City. The first company that I went to work for 13 years ago was a company called Vin Solutions. They're $1 billion company here in Kansas City now. They're a part of Cox Communications. So if you know of Cox, they own everything, it seems like. They have an automotive division where they're the biggest player in the industry. But worked at the Vin Solutions for 4 or 5 years, was there with the originally founding team of that company. That company was acquired in 2011 by Auto Trader, which is under the Cox umbrella now. And off of Vin Solutions, there's been 4 or 5 different automotive technology companies that have spawned off in Kansas City. So we like to say we're the hub of automotive technology here in Kansas City. A lot of the leaders, or a lot of the folks that were in leadership roles at Vin Solutions have gone out and started other companies, or some of us just left and went and ran other companies. I spent 5 or 6 years at a artificial intelligence company here in Kansas City. We grew that thing from about 5 employees in Kansas City to about 50. It was a company that was based out of Silicon Valley, but it was really cool to have an AI company here in Kansas City that was a big part of the tech community. And the last year or so, I had been doing some consulting, helping out with other companies in the technology space here in Kansas City. And the original, one of the founders of Vin Solutions, a guy by the name Micah, he's our CEO here at ProMax. He had been the CEO of Auto Alert, another automotive technology company here in Kansas City, that also relocated their corporate office from California to KC about 5-6 years ago. He reached out to a couple of the executives and other companies here around Kansas City, or guys that had worked with him, and said, "Hey, I've got a really, really great opportunity with a 25-year-old company that's established. And they've been working on some new technology." So when Mike reached out, it was a no-brainer for me we've said we kind of got the band back together, putting a lot of the executive team that was at Vin Solutions back together here at ProMax. And we're building a net new software from the ground up. So that's really, really exciting. There really hasn't been a new CRM company in this space per se. It kind of predates even the iPhone. So Vin Solution was the last company that brought a new technology to the space from a CRM perspective. And what we're doing is we're bringing one of the first ever, what we call CXM. So it's not customer relations management anymore. It's customer experience management now. So we're really building the software to cater to how the customer wants to be communicated with and where they're at in the buying cycle. So what we believe is going to really transform the automotive industry. And not only that, but for the consumer side, how you guys will shop for a vehicle and then get communicated with what said dealership is that you're actually looking at the vehicle at that time. So the big draw for me was new technology in a space I know and love dearly. And we've had some success doing it in the past. So being able to get back together with the team and then bringing the corporate office here and being able to watch this thing grow and be a part of growing something really, really cool here in my hometown in Kansas City is something that was easy for me. So excited to be a part of the organization.
Micah, a quick question. How do you think 5 years from now, this panel is going to buy a car? What is going to be different 5 years from now than today?
You know, that's kind of the $1 million question in automotive. You see your Carvanas, you see all these companies, and how we buy things today, period, has really, really changed, obviously, right? And so I don't know that 5 years from now you'll be clicking on an app and buying a car and it'll be shipping to your house. You can certainly do that with Carvana, but I've always said the car buying experience is a little bit different. If anybody's bought a car here recently, but that's a big purchase, right? It's the second biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life outside of your home. So being able to get up, go to the dealership. Now you want to knock out a lot of the preliminary things that you do before you have to walk into the dealership. But as far as putting your behind the seat, in the seat, behind the wheel, and being able to touch it, feel, and experience it, that means something to somebody, especially with us in Kansas City. A lot of folks commute to office, right? So they want to know, they want to feel that ride and know, is this something that I could spend for myself? I drive 45, 50 minutes to the office every single day. So we're in Crown Center and I live in Lewisburg. So I've got a haul every day. I live in a rural town about 30 minutes outside of Kansas City, and I drive down into the city every day. So for me, I don't know that I can. Customers are having a really hard time just going, hey, I'm going to order a car. It's going to show up. Hopefully it shows up in the condition that I think I paid. I got it, when I bought it. Is it going to fit my needs? I know from what I can see online, it's got some of the things, but especially if it's a pre-owned vehicle, right? You don't know, you have to go drive that vehicle. So I think that there's going to be a lot of changes. I think that millennials and even Gen Zs and people like that, they're going to do that. I think people are experimenting with it right now, but we're hearing a lot of I don't want to say negative feedback, but we're hearing a lot of things that consumers are not liking about buying from Carvanas and those kind of places. I think it's good for our energy, for the industry. I mean, I love driving by. I see the vending machine. I drive by every day coming to work. And I think there's a market for that, but I still feel like you're going to want to go and sit in the seat and feel that experience. So it will change, but I think the brick and mortar stores are safe and are still going to be doing great business.
I'm interested. I don't know if you just heard the door slam. That means my teenager's home. But I'm interested because we're at about car age, right? But very Gen Z and below Gen Z, and interested to see because they haven't shopped for anything that wasn't online before, right? So as we start to talk cars, I get links. Now they're all links that I'm not going to purchase for a 16.
Sure.
But it's really interesting. You got me at that used car and how that will work. But by the time my 9-year-old's there, was Vin Solutions also? Is that Matt Watson as well?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I was like, I know I've heard of that one. One of my favorite things is to see him in his old Walmart vest when they first came up with that, where he worked at Walmart and then came up with Vin Solutions, and then they sold that for millions. So, I have a real quick Table Rock Lake story. Did you know that I was so dumb that in 2020, so not that long ago, guys, I was like, I'm going to take my kids to Table Rock Lake. This place sounds amazing. I didn't realize it was Branson. I thought we were going to some secret. No idea. I'd never been there. Turns out it's Branson, guys. So we also did a wax museum and a tradition show. But not until we got there. I thought we'd just do some lake stuff.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the opposite. People don't realize that just behind the wax museum is this big, beautiful lake that people don't even know is there. They go to Branson like, we're going to go to the shows, we're going to go on the strip. And if they just go like 2 miles south of the wax museum, you literally will drive across the dam. And it's one of the most beautiful lakes in the whole country. And I feel really fortunate for the time that I got to spend down there. Some of my best friends in the whole world are still there. We're still very, very close. And it's a great, great area for sure.
Amazing. All right, look, people have joined us. Caroline says hello from the burbs. Daniel says hi from Kansas City. And I think we say the Spaney. Am I saying that right?
It's Fanay. It's my aunt, actually. Her name is Fanay.
Part of my
Family show.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember back in the day when Arkansas and Kansas played when we were kids and they crossed out the AR and it said Kansas on the
Aaron, one quick sec before you transition to the next question. Caroline leads Kansas City's largest venture capital firm, and their portfolio companies are hiring a lot of people. We have a really young audience, and so everyone's looking for, hey, how do I jump on the next rocket ship if Micah doesn't hire you? And Caroline just had a post about a lot of recent hiring that they're doing. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to our venture firm in Kansas City.
And she's always on here, so I just adore her. Okay, Miko, We got about 20 minutes left, guys. So Miko, why don't you tell us what's something awesome that happened the past 2 years? And also, what are you looking forward to accomplishing in 2022?
Girl, didn't I just send you an email about this?
Well, you got to tell everybody else
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, from all the entrepreneurs out there and present on the call, I don't know if y'all know about entrepreneurial depression, but yeah, I have it at times. There's every other day I'm like, shut it down. I'm done. But here I am. So the big thing that happened over the last 2 years, I got married. So there's that. But as far concerning the business was really the takeoff of the kids. I really was, we gave back somewhere close to 5 figures worth of deposits for upcoming weddings when COVID hit. I didn't, as the owner and nor the company, did we feel right holding on to those deposits for those monumental events for folks, not knowing what this looked like. And so to have all that come in for events upcoming and give it all back on some, like, who knows, this could be a light bill, gas bill, whatever, for someone, that's hard compared to like mine concerning a business. So to do that and turn around and have the idea for the corporate cocktail kits and have them take off the way that they did, especially, the end of 2020 and a good portion of 21 was amazing. We didn't pick up any of that PPP loans, the EIDL loans. We didn't pick up any loans during the span of COVID because when we applied initially, they were like, you're not in enough need. So I was like, oh, well, shoot. Okay, what are we going to do? And so the kids were probably the greatest thing, as well as being searched out by like some pretty big players. I don't know if you guys saw, for the viewers and all that, Shots by Miko made the 2022 Feast. I'm featured in Feast magazine for the class of 2022 for food and beverage for Kansas City is Rising Stars. They sent me an email months and months ago, like, hey, we've been seeing what you're doing. I'm like, y'all been checking for me? Like, I just kind of keep it very even keel. So that was great to be featured there. I also made in the last 2 years top 4 in a national cocktail competition with Black Restaurant Week. So I made it to dang near the final round, representing the city with my creations on behalf of that. So that was really cool. What was the last part of the question?
What are you going to accomplish in 2022?
2022. Oh, I'm probably okay. I'm working on a new service option, but I'm trying to figure out how for it not to get lost in the sauce because it's not the only one out there. So I'm working on a plan of attack with that. Definitely want to get a commercial done. It's been on my list for years and years and years. So I really want to get the commercial, visual and radio and all of that stuff done for 2022, especially since now we're pretty much we're not just on site anymore. My vision has broadened as far as, our reach for folks. And I want to get our mixers into retailers. So I want to do some custom mixers, with, go to Walmart instead of, what is it? I don't know the other name, something of mixers or whatever. You can pick up some Shots by Miko mixers off the shelf and support a small business.
I love it. Okay, I've got some ideas. We don't got time.
Lost in the sauce. You got to name something after that.
Yeah, I got you. I already got it covered.
We're like about 5 minutes for everyone. Brenda, what did you accomplish in 2020 in the past couple of years? Let's say that. And what are you going to accomplish in 2022?
Well, I also got married. My wife and I had a beautiful outdoor wedding during the pandemic. So everybody was outdoors. So everybody was safe, but it was awesome. And I got started on this documentary series. That was the big thing that got started. And in 2022, again, I just, want to share with people, I'm passionate about people supporting women here in Kansas City. So I would really encourage everybody to check out the Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship. It's downtown Municipal Auditorium, the same time as the men's tournament. Tickets are a lot less expensive, and it's a great, great atmosphere. And you can go to both if you want. If you support a certain team, you can go support Kansas State at both venues, or Kansas or Iowa State or whomever. So March 10th through the 13th, Municipal Auditorium. I'd love to see a lot of people in Kansas City come and support that event.
How do we buy tickets?
You could go to Ticketmaster and look up Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship. It's that easy. Or you can go to the box office at Municipal Auditorium. But real easy, just go to Ticketmaster, search up Big 12 Women's Basketball Championship, March 10th to the 13th. You can buy individual session tickets or entire sessions. So it's really easy. And then with my documentary series, If Not For Them, what I want to accomplish in 2022 is I want to raise enough money and be able to get all my interviews done, because I am interviewing all of these people that are in their 70s and 80s and 90s. I want to make sure we get all those interviews completed in the spring and the summer this year. And then I'll be looking for partners and sponsors and advertisers that want to help us, be a presenting sponsor of an episode or of the series or whatever, so that we can put this incredible series together. And it's not just a history or origin story for history's sake. We're going to make a lot of connections with what happened back 50, 60 years ago and connect it to today. And so you'll see some celebrities, some celebrity athletes of today that have direct ties to those men and women that got things started in the early days of women's basketball. So it's going to be great. And that's my big thing in 2022. I want to have all the interviews done so that we can start editing and putting together the documentary series at the 2023 Women's Final Four in Dallas. We want to launch this documentary series, If Not For Them, so that people get a chance to enjoy it then.
Nice. All right. Well, excited. We're going to come to the games. So I'll see you then. All right. And Steve's coming to the games too. He said it right here.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
I'll be there. I'll be there for sure.
What did you accomplish and what are you looking forward to accomplishing?
Let's see. Personally, my wife had our second daughter, I brought up earlier, and actually had hoped to be on the show a couple weeks ago. I told Scott.
That's right.
I told him that, it shouldn't come early, but he jinxed it and said, "Oh, you'll be fine." And of course she did come early, but everybody's doing good now. And
2 weeks old? The baby's 2 weeks old?
No, she's a month now. So,
and you got back to us really quickly. And so excited for you. But sometimes, the people are like, can't make it on the show. And you're like, "I'm so sorry." I'm just like, you just had a kid.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, that's how it goes. So luckily it all worked out. So no problem there. As far as things that went well in 2021, I found it kind of interesting with everything going on in the world, what you kind of see as far as a relation to what's been happening and what's been going down and what's been going up, and as far as different industries out there and how it's been affected by the pandemic and everything like that. And one we didn't foresee, and I don't know that I can explain the reasoning of what it is, but I had touched before on some of the stuff that we do, and we get into a lot of the food and beverage stuff, and that's a lot of the name brand things that people know. But one of the things that people don't always talk about is the pet food systems in the world and that sort of thing. And that's one of those industries that we didn't foresee having much of a relation to what's been going on with the world financially and things like that. But it seemed to have just taken off when it comes to this pandemic. I don't know if it has to do with people being at home more and feeling like they can have more pets around the house or whatever, but people are buying pet food over, toilet paper and things like that, it seems like. So with that, it's been good for us, because one of the things we specialize in is a fully automated rendering pet food system, which basically takes the product, whatever that animal might be, and produce it down into the pet food and sell it to these large name brand pet food distributors. So with the need for that pet food going up, the need for our system goes up, and it's been nice to see that correlation and been able to see the benefit of that.
It's called the COVID puppy.
Yes, exactly. And I have one too.
Do you work with Duravet in Bonner Springs?
It sounds familiar. We get into the animal health vaccines and medication, that sort of thing as well. So it sounds familiar. Yeah.
Speaking of podcasts, a guy named Joe Rogan talked about an alternative medicine.
Nope. We're changing the subject. Not even letting LinkedIn flag us. Nope. Hey, Johnny, how are you in Miami? They got keywords, guys. They got keywords out there. We just stay away from them. Look, she says right there, niece. That's why you knew how to say her name. All right, Micah. What did you accomplish the past couple of years, and what are you looking forward to?
I think what I've accomplished the most since the pandemic happened is just learning to be adaptable. I think it was, I had a conversation with some folks a couple of months ago in an interview, and I said, listen, a lot of us, there was so many great things. 2019, a lot of folks in business were doing really, really well. Things were going great. And then, the bottom fell out for everybody in March. And, I think a lot of us got complacent. A lot of us got comfortable in business, and things were going so well. And all of a sudden, for me, I had been with an organization for a really, really long time, and they laid off our whole company. We supplied about 83% of all the revenue for the company, and we still were put in a position where just a few short weeks after the pandemic started, we were all kind of looking for jobs. So adaptability and really being able to understand what my capabilities were and what I could do to be successful in other areas. It was a real learning experience for me, right? Like I think I learned a lot about myself. And then I got to work with several different technology companies in Kansas City, seeing how the pandemic had affected I was working with companies in different verticals. So it was really, really cool for me. It was a learning experience. So the thing I took from me was, look, this is affecting everybody, some in different ways. But if we keep a positive mindset, and if we keep working hard and doing what we knew, what our skill sets are made to do, we can still be successful, and we were able to do that. So it was a learning experience for me that I didn't want to go through it. If you'd asked me, what would you do if something like this happened? But I think in the end, I think a lot of us will look back and go, man, we either had to learn to do things differently with our businesses. And I think we grew as individuals as well. So I think that was something that really stuck with me for that. As far as 2022 goes, man, I'm just excited about our hyper growth here at ProMax. I mean, we're hiring like crazy. We've hired probably 20, 25 people in the last month and a half, 2 months. So we've been getting some great candidates. I've noticed an uptick in being able to get, we're getting better candidates. We had a real problem with people we'd have 4 or 5 interviews set up and folks just not even showing up, right? So I see a shift here in about the last month where we're getting some great candidates, we're getting some folks hired, and I'm really, really excited about the future from a product standpoint, but also the growth of the organization and where I think we're going to be. So excited for that.
Awesome. All right, guys, like I told you in the pre-show, so everyone that's watching, I have officially nixed the what do we call them, icebreakers? Because they were getting so ridiculous. I know they're Scott's favorite thing, but you'll have to go to drinks or coffee with Scott to do an icebreaker with him. But we now like to play Kansas City history, which is a Christmas present I bought for Scott so that I could nix the icebreakers. See, look at that strategy. So Scott, as a reminder, you cannot answer this question until after the guests have answered them, okay? He gets very excited when he knows the answer. We're going to go back around and you guys answer whatever it is that you think is the answer, and we'll see who wins. You can answer if you agree with someone else's answer. And audience, you guys answer over here. And it is a football question because there's a game around my concert this weekend. So here we are, officially listed as 346 pounds. What member of the Chiefs became the heaviest player by 81 pounds to throw an NFL touchdown pass when he connected with Demetrius Harris on Christmas Day 2016? Miko, do you know the answer to this?
No.
No guesses?
A Chief.
Kansas City Chief.
Yeah.
Brenda?
The only lineman that's coming to mind is Will Shields, and I think that's past his time, but at least I have an answer.
You did have an answer.
That was the answer to last week's question.
That was the answer last week.
See, I was a week late, darn it.
Steve?
Yeah, that would be Dontari Poe.
And Micah?
I was going to say Dontari Poe as well.
Scott, what's your guess?
Oh my God. Well, I'm just with the confidence that Micah and Steve had, I'm just going to copy them, but I was going to guess something I didn't know. I had Miko's answer.
Does anyone, this is about 20 seconds behind when we go live, but usually people are on here by the time we get around with some sort of guess. But Steve, I feel like Micah, I don't know if you just, so Micah, I'll give it this to you too, because I don't know if we would have got Micah first, right? But you guys were pretty confident, and I've never heard of this guy. It is Dontari Poe. He was the heavyweight 81 pounds, which just gives me so much confidence because I'm so heavy right now. That means I can accomplish anything. So here is the deal. What we want you to do, every single one of our guests are tagged on LinkedIn on this show today. We want you to go follow. We want you to connect. If you are looking to buy tickets, Ticketmaster for the Big 12 tournament. And if you are looking for bartenders or cocktail kits, go with Miko. If you are looking actually for a new job or automotive marketing or to figure out, go connect with Micah, and then go connect with Steve and see his awesome building and all the cool things. It sounds like you guys are doing all sorts of insane things. Just start following these people. They're amazing people. They're amazing community members. We're so excited and thankful that you guys joined us today. We're also thankful to Bank of Blue Valley for sponsoring our show. We're going to be back at the same time, same place next week. Have an absolutely wonderful week and go outside and enjoy the sunshine. Bye.
Thank you, guys.